So that's when I started up the telemarketing office. And again, and the funny thing about it, when I was running the telemarketing office legitimately, I was making about like, 15, $20,000 a week. You feel me? So so when I started doing it illegally, now we're making like, you know what I'm saying, 50, $100,000 a week. You feel me? And that's when it kind of like, okay, wow. But of course, that was short lived, got jammed up. But just like anything, when you taste of it, and then I got it's like, okay, hell no, let me go ahead and run it up again, But again, I've never really gone into the intricate details, and the crazy part about it, although the statute of limitations are done on the case, but had I really been convicted for all of the crimes, financial crimes I've done. And everything, man, I would have been buried under the jail because they never catch you for everything that you do. It was, man, it's scary for people that's watching this. Y'all know, man, this is my first bid. You get out the bus, they strip you naked. They, the CEO there, he's waiting to slap the first person to get out of line. You feel me? And you just intimidated. By the time you go through the whole intake and everything, I had a little hair then. You feel me? So they shave your hair off and everything. So you go inside the dorm, then you like, damn, it's here, right? And I think I seen my first fight like the second day or something like that. Then it's like, okay, man. Then I see my first stabbing like the following week. Throughout the 9-year bid, I end up seeing somebody get killed. Somebody got raped. I've seen, gang initiations. I've seen all that dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've seen COs get it.
All right, good afternoon. This is State of Florida versus Stephen Testa with multiple cases before the
Dog, so what's your name? Where you from? And go ahead and just tell me your background, dog. Tell me your upbringing, what led you to prison, and just go from there.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Thank you. Well, my name is Wesley Paul, aka the Blueprint Mastermind. Yeah, your favorite South Florida Zoe. Born and raised here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Um, Man, okay, to answer your story, your question there, I did 12 years. Got incarcerated November 18th, 2010. 2010, got out in 2000. No, I didn't do 12. I did 9. I'm sorry. Got out October 18th, 2019. Um, Offenses all white collar crimes. First degree organized fraud, money laundering, um, and unlawful use of stolen identity. To put it all in a nutshell for the viewers out there, I had a boiler room operation. I was a ringleader of several telemarketing offices, which we'll go into. But now that I'm out, I've been out since again 2020. We're in 2024, so these past 3.5, 4 years, I have turned my life around to being a serial entrepreneur, a podcaster, a leader, a father, and here to just make a difference. I have a beautiful family, beautiful girl, and just trying to be an activist now as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, and try to make a difference out here nowadays. Because final point I want to say is, out of the 9 years I did, right, I realized like, damn, had I had the same mindset that I have now in there, I would have never done that time, right? So it's all about turning the negative into a positive. So it's funny how where you don't put your energy into negative things. If you put it into positive things, how far you can go. So that's sort of a little introduction into myself right there.
Yeah, thank you, bro. That's fire. All right, so just leaning into your childhood, bro. What did like childhood look like for you? And just like your young adolescent years, your family, were you involved in sports? And maybe like kind of take us into if you started like getting into trouble and how that process happened.
Wow, good question. First of all, my ex's mother always told me this. She's always said, you know, you have a wine you have a wine appetite but a beer budget. Right? So in other words, I've always had an expensive taste, but I just never had a way to be able to get the finer things that I wanted, right? So to answer your question, growing up, I grew up dirt poor, like most people in the inner city. Again, I was born and raised here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Single mother, 3 kids. Dad left when we was young, so she was forced to raise all 3 of us, working 2, 3 jobs and everything. I got my first, no, my first job was a bagger in Winn-Dixie, right? So, but before I get into my first job, all throughout school, been very bad student. I'll be honest, not just behavior wise, but academically, I just didn't give school much attention. I barely graduated high school. I had to go to summer school just to walk this, just to get my diploma. So that gives you a little bit of idea. But I got my first job as a bagger as Winn-Dixie, worked there for 6 months. Then my second job was a telemarketer at a sales office selling cruise vacations not too far from here. I got that job as a senior in high school. What's very important about that was it was full commission. No hourly salary. So basically, I was getting paid for $100 for each sale that I made. I think my first week I did 10 sales. That's $1,000. So I was locked in after that. And instantly I knew in that moment that you earn what you make. You're right. If you came in there, you didn't hustle, you wasn't gonna make anything, right? So I had the entrepreneurial spirit since then, and that was my first job. Not my first job. That was my second job. I had that all throughout my senior year. I've worked there for like 3, 4 years, and after that, that mushroomed into me opening up my own telemarketing office at the age of 24, which I've never shared this on camera, outside of a deposition with police officers, right? But, the specifics of the crime was basically I learned uh, how to flip timeshares, how to sell timeshares from a friend, end up opening up my own business doing so. Me and a partner end up starting up the business. After a year, we separated. I opened up my own office at 25. And I had that for about a year until, greed got the best of me. So end up double, triple, quadruple charging clients' credit cards. And that's where I caught my first charge out of the series of offenses that I got incarcerated for. And then over the years until my final arrest, I was just operating boiler rooms and everything like that, running it up. And for those who don't believe me, again, this is all public information. And got to the point where I was sentenced to, 120 months, followed by, 10 years probation and paying $250,000 in restitution. And one thing I can say, yes, I made a lot of money throughout my criminal run, but I was high in ignorance, high in misjudgment, and everything like that. And, now that I'm out, I take my same talents as far as knowing how to get money because, again, I no longer have that, beer budget, right? So our budget matches our wine taste, right? So I just now take all of my talents and efforts and put it into positivity by putting a platform together of my podcast, Respect My Blueprint, starting up my own tech company, Uptrend Credit, where it's a credit monitoring company where we allow consumers to be able to monitor as well as upgrade their credit. And also being a mentor, educating, young inner city kids on the importance of personal finance, financial literacy. Because one final point I want to say, I think we talked about this a little bit. My last 2 years of my bid, I was in work release. 2 years of work release. Most people who are aware of this, before you get back into society, the Department of Corrections allow you to reacclimate by putting you a program called work release. I was in this program the last 2 years. I was working as a server, a part-time server at a restaurant. All my tips and all my checks, I was saving it against the rules of Department of Correction because you can't save your money. But I'm cuffing my money. I had a Wells Fargo bank account. I'm cuffing it. So I took it all. Last 2 years, I'm taking my money. I'm paying off my credit. I'm saving my money. So I got out on the streets with a 700 plus credit score and like 2 credit cards. I have a Capital One and a Discover credit card. And right there, that set the stage from me because 4 months after that pandemic came, I'm locked in the house, but I had good credit. I said, you know what? Since I was able to educate myself and build up my credit, let me do the same for others. And after that, it's been, story's been history.
That's fire, bro. So let me backtrack some. Whenever you were in high school working at the telemarketing spot, did you ever get like distracted and like detoured by like street lifestyle at all? Were you like smoking and drinking and partying, or ever
Oh hell
like selling
yeah.
any dope and all that too, or were you just focused on the legal hustle?
Well, okay, when I was, I wasn't outside like that, but I was influenced outside. Of course, we influenced by hip hop, we influenced by our culture, the way our fashion is and everything, right? So, of course, I wanted the J's. Of course, I wanted the back then it was Mecca and Nietzsche and everything. Like, of course, right? But I wasn't on the block slanging. I wasn't toting no guns. That wasn't my forte. Really, in high school, how I was getting it. Again, I was in bad behavior. I was bad academically. So I played JV football my freshman year. I said, you know what? Forget sports. Nah, I'm not talented enough to make it to the pros. But my senior year, once I got that job, and then my mom forced me to pay for my own clothes. So mind you, I want the J's. Since I want the $150 J's, I got to put 10 hours into the telemarketing job to get 2 sales to be able to get the J's. So necessarily that was, I guess, it's funny how they say money is the root of all evil. I guess in my situation that what it was the case because me not having everything and me having to hustle to get my own money by working, it was like, damn, in order for me to get the things I really want, the fast cars, the money, the women, the jewelry and everything, I got to find a way to make more money. All right. But again, I'm not too much of the criminal that's outside. Let me go ahead and figure out a way. So that's when I started up the telemarketing office. And again, and the funny thing about it, when I was running the telemarketing office legitimately, I was making about like, $15,000-$20,000 a week. You feel me? So when I started doing it illegally, now we're making like, what I'm saying, 50, $100,000 a week. You feel me? And that's when it kind of like, okay, wow. But of course, that was short lived, got jammed up. But just like anything, when you taste of it, and then I got it's like, okay, hell no, let me go ahead and run it up again, But again, I've never really gone into the intricate details, and the crazy part about it, although the statute of limitations are done on the case, but had I really been convicted for all of the crimes, financial crimes I've done and everything, man, I would have been buried under the jail because they never catch you for everything that you do. You feel me? But
Yeah,
that's what it
okay.
is.
And I think it's dope too how like while you were at the telemarketing spot, you learned the game. And then while you learned the game, you went and started your own. Just for like once again, bro, you don't have to answer this. I'm not
No,
trying to
go
like
ahead.
ask
Yeah, yeah.
police questions, but
Nah,
this
go
out of
ahead.
like out of understanding of the charges, right? So whenever you began to like so pretty much you went to prison for just like double swiping or triple swiping these
Nah,
cards whenever they bought a timeshare. You just kept running it up on their card
let me.
like double, triple charging him, and that's why you went to prison for that. That's considered fraud.
No, matter of fact, to tell you the truth, again, I'm actually, I wouldn't say honored, but I don't mind. I don't mind sharing this. All right. So the first one, mind you, again, I'm 24, 25 years old. I have this telemarketing office. So to make a long story short, a hurricane had passed during one of those years. I forgot what it's. This is like '06 or '05 or something. Hurricane passed. We lose power. When we lose power, we end up losing our merchant account because all of our clients couldn't get a hold of us. So my neighbor, my business neighbor, like we have this office here, there's a neighbor next to me. He opened up the same business as me because he was jealous. He was racist, right? So when he opened up the same business as me, I was like, oh, okay, wow, I'm going to get my get back. I'm going to just wait. So when I lost my merchant account and everything, I said, okay, let me go ahead. And I went up to him and said, let me go ahead and process all my transactions through your merchant account. Of course, he got the greed in his head. He was like, yeah, no problem. So first month we processing transactions, no problem. But, I said again, greed got the best of me. We started double, triple, quadrupling charges through his merchant account. He's paying me out unaware, unbeknownst to all of the, fuckery, aka that I got going on in the background. So he ends up, clients end up canceling, charging back. He gets irate, and then boom, month later, BSO raised my office. So that was the first instance. Um, I got out, I bonded out. Then after that, I started doing some other scams and everything like that with like PayPal and other, crap to kind of like survive and make money, right? But then I went back into timeshares again. But because I lost my merchant account, I was just having clients wire me the money. So for 2 years, basically, I was just opening up fake offices, all throughout the country in different states and everything like that. And I would just have clients wire me the money for to sell their timeshare, which to put it better perspective, the whole scam was basically I was the broker. I was the middleman between somebody selling their timeshare and somebody wanting to buy a timeshare. So I would call the seller and say, "Hey, I have a buyer. They're willing to pay you 10%, but you got to pay me the transaction fee, the closing costs and everything like that is 10% of the transaction, which is the normal transaction is like 100,000, 50,000. So 10% of that is $10,000. So you'll get somebody to wire you 5,000 for the transaction. You tell them you're going to close within 30 days, and after 30 days, it's bye bye. You don't hear from me no more." So
Dang. Okay, so two questions, right? So whenever you were running the like you were doubling and tripling like the accounts through his merchant account, I'm assuming because you wouldn't do that on your own merchant account because obviously the paper trail will go back to you immediately. So
yeah,
you assume that doing it through him, like he wouldn't be aware of it or wouldn't like paper trail, it couldn't prove you wrong. So what had happened? So whenever the feds round down on you, so what did he like turn state witness and like make a statement saying that those were your merchant accounts that he became a witness like in your case?
again, well, to answer your question specifically, he knew when everything was ran on his account and then the client started canceling and everything, he the one that initiated to get the cops to raid my office and everything. Was he aware I was double, triple charging? No, he wasn't aware. Was I aware that this was going to come back on me? I thought it would more go back on him than me, right? So to answer your question, right? And plus, I'm young, and that's why I said I guess I, sometimes when you think you're so smart but you're really stupid, right? So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get back at you. I'm thinking I'm sorry, I'm gonna just go run it all up, but I'm so naive not realizing, damn, this shit gonna come back on me too, right? So at that point, that's kind of the situation. What it is, I just ain't have a fuck attitude, So it was just sort of like get back from me in a way.
So the feds ran down on you, right?
Yeah, no, it was BSO. BSO ran down on me. Actually, the only reason
What
I
is BSO? Excuse me.
Bro-
Explain it to
oh,
the
I'm
viewers.
sorry. Broward Sheriff's Office, which that's where the office was located here in Broward County, and so the sheriff's office here in Broward County raided my office. Everybody, went home. Nobody got locked up. It was just me because I had an unrelated situation. I had a firearm with me. I was the only one that got locked up, but that was it, pretty
Okay,
much.
so for that prison bid, what was the end up like? What did you end up charged with? How many years did you get, and then what prison you go to first?
Um, that particular instance that happened in '08, I bonded out. So I bonded out, and it's funny, I caught three more charges, like, because that happened like in '08, right? Yeah, I said '08. I got locked up in 2010. So for 2 years, from
You
'08
were
to
out on bond.
I was out on bond, right? And I was catching more felonies. So that particular story that I just shared with you that happened in '08, I bonded out 2 years after that. I caught more felonies until 2010, going to court for the '08 case and everything. They just said, you know what, you a menace. We're going to now put a warrant for you and you got to sit and everything.
And those
So
other cases, those were like the PayPal, other fraud type stuff you were talking about.
exactly, yeah.
Okay, so what were you with all those cases? What were you convicted with at the end? How much time did you get?
I caught 120 months. The final disposition was 120 months, followed by 10 years probation and 250,000 in restitution. The offenses was first degree organized fraud, 2 counts of money laundering, and also unlawful use of personal identification.
And the feds didn't pick that up.
No, it was actually case was very interesting. Quick, I was supposed to actually have a lesser time than what I caught. I open plead in front of my judge, and I had a paid lawyer, high paid lawyer, and everything like that. He told me don't open plea. Again, me thinking I'm too smart. Oh, it's nonviolent crime. It's my first time going to prison. I'm thinking, damn, she's gonna bless me with probation. So when you open plea, you sitting here explaining yourself to the judge, asking for remorse and mercy. As I'm trying to ask for mercy, she's not giving me no eye contact. She's basically completely shows no compassion or empathy towards me. And as I'm talking, it's like as I'm talking right now in my head, I'm like, damn. I think I fucked up, right? So as soon as she, it's like she couldn't wait till I was done. As soon as I was done, okay, Mr. Paul, yeah, the court denies your da 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 da, and we sentence you to, to the sentence I just read off. And that moment right there, my life changed because I want to put this in perspective. I thought I was going home that day. So think about when one day you think you're going home to now learning you're going to spend 120. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, damn, and that was a life changing moment. Of course, throughout what's very very interesting about my story. Because of that, when I got to the chain gang, I ended up becoming a law clerk. So for the, I guess half the time in my bid, I'm a law clerk. I'm fighting my case. I got myself back to court pro se, gave some time back and everything like that. Of course, helping other inmates on with their DRs, got other inmates back to court and everything. And me doing that, I wrote a book in prison. I educated myself and everything. And so that kind of like prepped me for, the person I am right now and what I got going on. So, it's funny. This whole interview, out of all the negatives that I just did, prison, I tell this, although I have an issue with the amount of time I did, going to prison was the biggest blessing for me, man. It completely changed my life around because, again, I was able to know the law. I was able to educate myself, enlighten myself, empower myself, met some of the smartest individuals that walk this planet on earth. I've met prosecutors. I've met, ex-lawyers, and when I say prosecutor, yeah, I actually met a prosecutor that got locked up. He was in our unit. So engineers, doctors, a lot of these pill mill doctors, I sat and had conversations with them. You see, like, these people are smart. So again, I've met a lot of smart people in prison. So prison changed my life for the good because you realize, okay, what's the evil to stay away from? And also take all that and just turn it into a light, turn it into positivity.
That's fire, bro. All right, let me rewind this some, just for clarity. So, whenever you open pled, what was the initial plea deal that
5 years?
5 years,
and I'm in 3, and I with game time I had like 2 years in, or
that would have
something
been
like
time
that.
served. You would have done a year. Damn.
I would have done a year on the pound and got out on work release.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah, man.
All right, so what? So you went FBOC.
I went to South Florida Reception Center.
Okay.
And because I went in to become a law clerk, they kept me there.
Okay.
So I was a law clerk there for about 5 years until I got caught with a phone. When I got caught with a phone, they shipped me to Okeechobee.
All right.
Yeah.
Just lean into some of your prison experience a little bit, and then we'll focus on the release and the transition out. Hold on, little question about the prison bid. All right. So I mean, it's fire. Obviously, right when you caught your time, you were committed to studying law, so that way you could fight your case. Mm-hmm. But was that an immediate response for you? Right when you went up the road, you were like, nah, I gotta learn the law. I gotta fight my case. I gotta come back home. Or was it you were depressed, you were upset, you wanted to wild out with violence or whatever? And explain how you navigated your prison time. Some people go to prison, they bang, they rob, they get caught up in gambling, or there's a million ways you can do time. So explain that process for you and how you did time.
Well, first thing first, I knew I wasn't going to go in there and be no, big dick. Let me go ahead and fight everybody. Nah, that wasn't. I knew that was not the case. So to answer your question, I said, nah, I'm gonna fight this. I'm not doing all of this. Although I end up doing all of the prison sentence that I was sentenced, right? But I said I did get a little bit of remedy. But to answer your question, I just said, hell nah, I'm not taking all of this. So as soon as I got there, they put you in the kitchen. They either go put you on inside grounds or the kitchen, right? That's the first job they put you on. So I'm working in the kitchen until I think my direct appeal, I lost it, because you got 30 days to file a direct at 3,800. I lost that. As soon as I lost that, I said, nah, man, I want to be a law clerk. I want to put in for it, And then I put in for it, and they just kept me there. So it was just two things, working out and studying the law. They tell you to stay away from the 3 G's, gays, gambling, and gangs, right? So You know, they tell you that first quarter, so I already knew. I was like, okay, all three of them, that don't even pertain to me. You feel me? Although I did learn how to play poker in prison. You feel me? I did.
Every game in the book,
Yeah,
right?
you feel me? But outside of that, you know, yeah. But to answer your question, now I knew I wasn't gonna wild out. I knew from jump I was gonna do something to cut some of this time down. You feel me? So, and that's what it is. I just had my mindset on a whole different lane and everything. And you know, to bring a little entertainment in the situation, you know, prison was, man, it's scary for people that's watching this. Y'all know, man, this is my first bid. You get out the bus, they strip you naked. They, you know, the CEO there, he's waiting to slap the first person to get out of line. You feel me? And you just intimidated. By the time you go through the whole intake and everything, you know, I had a little hair then. You feel me? So they shave your hair off and everything. So you go inside the dorm, then you like, damn, it's here, right? And I think I see my first fight like the second day or something like that. Then it's like, okay, man. Then I see my first stabbing like the following week. You know, throughout the 9-year bid, I end up seeing somebody get killed, somebody got raped. I've seen, you know, gang initiations. I've seen all that dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've seen COs get it. You feel me? I've seen COs get checked. You feel me? So everything that you see in the movies, for the most part, I would say is real. Some of the movies is, you know, they dramatize it too much, but prison is definitely a messed up place. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody, but it depends on the individual because it can make or break you. You go in there with the BS, they're going to give you everything that you're looking for. But if you go in there wanting to change your life, there is a window. May not be as big, but there is a window where you can change your life up in there too.